This is Michael Popok, Legal AF. I'm going to have some fun on this hot take. I'm going to talk about Melania Trump and her lack of support for Donald Trump on the campaign trail, or really anywhere, in his courtrooms, during his criminal conviction processes, on the campaign trail at Mar-a-Lago, or even in New York. But astute paparazzi working for the New York Post have caught her walking around in a Marie Antoinette moment, carting around a $33,000 Birkin bag, dressed head to toe in white, as she was seen leaving Trump Tower, which seems to be her recluse lair, in which she completely ignores her marriage to Donald Trump. I'm going to start calling her Marie Antoinette Trump instead of Melania Trump. I mean, it makes more sense. It's always the let him eat cake. She doesn't care about any kind of suffering. She doesn't care about what the MAGA Congress is doing in terms of their policies and how it's affecting everyday Americans. All she cares about is what is the biggest Birkin bag I can carry around with the biggest price tag to rub my husband's nose in it. She's barely been seen at all, even before the 34-count felony conviction of Donald Trump in just a few weeks ago. She never went to the courthouse. She never went to the courtroom. And I posited as a trial lawyer that there could have been a moment where she could have actually helped Donald Trump. I'm not sure it would have reversed the ultimate findings of the jury. But at the moment when Stormy Daniels, for instance, took the stand, that could have been a moment, a powerful moment, if she believed it, which she obviously does not, for Melania Trump to support Donald Trump. She could have blown through the back door, dressed head to toe in white, maybe with or without the Birkin bag, and just sat in the where the visitors sit, but just lay her hand in front of the jury ever so slightly and touch his shoulder. But in order to do that, what I just mapped out, and sort of throw a little bit of your support for your husband, you got to be in the courtroom. And so the last time we saw her, remember, Donald Trump was holding court in Mar-a-Lago until he decamped for the campaign trail / Trump Tower just a couple of weeks ago. As soon as it gets really hot in Palm Beach, they leave and they go to Bedminster. She doesn't want to be at Bedminster. She barely wanted to be at Mar-a-Lago. You know, that's the shared mansionette that they own, but they have to share with thousands and thousands of other people because it's a golf course community and it's also a banquet hall, and that's where she lives. So Donald Trump held court there. No pun intended. He had lots of meetings and fundraisers and campaign speeches and whatever, pick-me-ups for Donald Trump. She didn't appear at one, and she lived there. All she had to do was step out of the private residence, where we all know where that is ever since the Mar-a-Lago search warrant was executed. We all have a pretty good sense of what that layout looks like. All she had to do was step downstairs and greet the masses, say hello. No, didn't do that. Then, just in the beginning of June, we thought, oh, she's making an appearance. She came out of Trump Tower, we'll throw up some pictures, with her son in tow, Barron in tow, who was apparently the love of her life. And they were just head to toe in Louis Vuitton luggage, just with Barron's initials on it, getting Barron off to whatever he's doing for the summer, since she put her foot down apparently and said he's not going to be a delegate to the Republican National Committee for their July convention, in which presumably Donald Trump's going to be nominated. So she's swinging around her Birkin bag for 33 grand. Look it up. And Donald Trump's out on the campaign trail, speech after speech after speech, either written by AI and or completely delusional or completely unhinged, meeting with business leaders in which they're like, this guy is batshit crazy, and she's nowhere to be found. She's doing her shopping spree. She's in spas. She hasn't yet left the country, but we're keeping an eye on that as well. And what is that supposed to signal to America? All these people that are thinking about voting for Donald Trump, none of them take issue, apparently, with Melania's complete absence and lack of support for her husband and what it may indicate, not only about the strength of that marriage, but about her feelings and beliefs about whether Donald Trump is he is a convicted felon, but whether he committed those crimes. Have you seen a less supportive wife than Melania Trump? Even Donald Trump comments about it on the campaign trail. He talks about the lack of Melania being present, and he can't point to her at all. I've never seen a more isolated and solitary campaign for the presidency where there's basically no family members and no wife where you're married. He's not a widow. And then Donald Trump's campaign. I mean, Dr. Jill goes everywhere as the first lady for Joe Biden. She even goes and supports her stepson in his criminal trial. This is in sharp contrast to Melania. That's why I never understood why MAGA are so in love with Marie Antoinette Trump. I just don't get it. I've never gotten it. They put her up there because why? Because she's a human hanger that looks great in clothes. Oh, look at her, the most elegant first lady we've ever had. She completely abdicated her responsibilities as vice president. There is an office of first lady. There is an office of the first lady. It has a chief of staff. It has staff. They do things. They're responsible for things. She barely did anything. She barely show up at any event. She barely held any events where she was the host. It's hot outside, and your nighttime bedroom temperature has a huge impact on your sleep quality. If you wake up too hot or too cold, I highly recommend you check out Miracle Made's bed sheets. Using silver-infused fabrics inspired by NASA, Miracle Made sheets are thermoregulating and designed to keep you at the perfect temperature all night long, no matter the weather. So you get better sleep every night. These sheets are infused with silver that prevent up to 99.7% of bacterial growth, leaving them to stay cleaner and fresh 3 times longer than other sheets. No more gross odors. Miracle sheets are luxuriously comfortable without the high price tag of other luxury brands, and feel as nice, if not nicer, than sheets used by some 5-star hotels. Stop sleeping on bacteria. Bacteria can clog your pores, causing breakouts and acne. Sleep clean with Miracle. Go to trymiracle.com/legalaf to try Miracle Made sheets today. And whether you're buying them for yourself or as a gift for a loved one, if you order today, you can save over 40%. And if you use our promo code LegalAF at checkout, you'll get 3 free towels and save an extra 20%. Miracle is so confident in their product, it's backed with a 30-day money-back guarantee. So if you aren't 100% satisfied, you'll get a full refund. Upgrade your sleep with Miracle Made. Go to trymiracle.com/legalaf and use the code LegalAF to claim your free 3-piece towel set and save over 40% off. Again, that's trymiracle.com/legalaf to treat yourself. Thank you, Miracle Made, for sponsoring this episode. I find a picture of her bending down with small children, or making the White House the people's house and inviting people in and families in and diverse families in and minority families in. Show me a picture of Melania Trump with somebody who's of color. I've got time. Go ahead. Where she's genuinely hosting something involving people of a diverse background and is seen smiling doing it. I mean, we already know from prior reporting, and including her own best friend at the time, that she hated all those aspects of being first lady. As you can see, she hates being ex-first lady, maybe first lady again. I mean, she's being pulled into this cooking and screaming. When she wasn't busy chopping down the Rose Garden, which has thankfully been restored. I've been back to the White House this past spring, or putting up bloody red Christmas trees, every child's Christmas nightmare. What has she done for the country? Why is the cult followers so enamored with her? It's the same reason they're enamored with him. I don't really get it. It's some sort of transference, projection, psychological spell that's going on here. She is the opposite of a supportive wife and or first lady. Now, I get the wife part. I know who she's married to. You know, when you're married to a misogynist who raped a woman, at least one, and molested others, and has been indicted 4 times, convicted 34 times of crimes, and has committed fraud and has drained the bank account of the family fortune, I could see where that would be a difficult conversation over a cup of coffee in the morning. But she's in it. I mean, look, there's always been reporting that every time she's missing, like now, you know, swinging around the Birkin bag. I don't care, do you? You know, those kind of days where she wore that on the back of her jacket as she went off and did something after immigration was a major issue at the time. Every time she does that, it's leverage to negotiate an increased prenuptial for her and to benefit Barron. The reporting is all that she cares about is that Barron is taken care of, that he's treated equally among the children, that he's in line to succeed Donald Trump for his, I don't know, fraud-based real estate development company. That seems to be important to her, that he's taken care of and that she's taken care of in case she ever leaves him. And so every few years, she gets leverage by refusing to go to the White House unless the prenuptial is increased, the amount of money that she would get in a divorce. And I don't know if that number right now stands at 20, 30, 50, or 100 million, but it's some huge number. And it keeps getting improved because she's transactional the way he is. And she has been negotiating those prenuptials to improve them every time he makes her try to do something. So when we next see, this will be the tell, when we next see Melania ever in the same zip code as her husband and not going at 100 miles an hour in the opposite direction, something will have happened with her prenuptial. She will have extracted a new benefit for her or for Barron or for both. So when you see her at the Republican National Committee, which I assume she won't, she'll show up for that. If they have to sedate her and wheel her out on the stage like Hannibal Lecter, which Donald Trump has a sick fascination with that fictional character. Although sometimes he doesn't realize he's fictional. When you see that, when you see her in the audience of a debate with Joe Biden or anything else, she has gotten something out of Donald Trump that's reflected and memorialized in her prenuptial, or she wouldn't be there. That is the nature of the relationship. People used to comment and criticize without knowing what they were talking about the relationship between Bill and Hillary Clinton. Why is there no examination, X-ray examination of the relationship? This obvious abusive, two-way abusive, codependent relationship, transactional and commercial in nature between Melania, Marie Antoinette Trump and Donald Trump. I don't really get the lack of focus and examination and why she's still honored and promoted as one of the best first ladies. She, along with her husband, will be at the bottom of the ranks of first ladies forever. And she will never climb out of that spot on the ranking. That we know. So I started it in a humorous fashion. Marie Antoinette Trump swinging around her Birkin bag instead of appearing with Donald Trump anywhere. But I wanted to get to something more serious, which is the nature of the family that people are considering installing in the White House and what it means to the rest of the world. And that we'd be the joke of the rest of the world if there was the restoration of the Trump presidency and the installation again of Melania Trump. She never wanted that job. She dishonored that job. And, she's going to be dragged kicking and screaming into it if Donald Trump's able to overcome Joe Biden's electoral advantages. We'll continue to follow it all right here on the MeidasTouch Network and on Legal AF. We sit at the intersection of law and politics, so you don't have to, and bring you a show we call Legal AF. And now you know why. And if you don't, join us on Wednesdays and Saturdays at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, and then on major podcast platforms of your choice. Leave me a thumbs up and a comment. I've been known to talk back, so to speak, and we'll open a dialogue. It also helps with the algorithm and keeps this whole network kind of afloat. If you like what I'm doing, go over to the YouTube channel for MeidasTouch. Free subscribe. Look under playlists or contributors for Michael Popok, and you'll find all my work. So until my next hot take, until my next Legal AF, this is Michael Popok reporting.
Heary, heary, Legal AF Law Breakdown is now in session. Go beyond the headlines and get a deep dive into the important legal concepts you need to know, and we discuss every day on Legal AF. Exclusive content you won't find anywhere else, all for the price of a couple of cups of coffee. Join us at patreon.com/legalaf. That's patreon.com/legalaf.